Welcome to Photoshop is Fun with Kenneth Lobenberg. Today we're going to be going over how to airbrush skin, or I'm ready for my close-up. Let's begin. Okay, so here's a finished photo I did of a lovely young lady. You can see she's got really smooth skin. We got rid of a lot of wrinkles. We can go ahead and turn on the original layer and you can see she had some pores and things like that. Nothing that we don't actually have, but unfortunately, the way the magazine industry works today, everybody wants their skin to be perfectly smooth. So let's go ahead and see how I got rid of all those pores and wrinkles. Alright, so here's the original photo. Again, we have those here. And what we want to do is hit Command J and duplicate that background layer. From there, let's come up here to Filter, Convert to Smart Filters. Now, I'm going to show you later why we're going to do this, but for now, just trust me on it. Okay, now that we have it as a smart filter, let's come back up over here to Filter, Blur, Surface Blur. Now you may want to use a different blur. That is completely up to you. I find that surface blur works best, but if you want to use Gaussian blur, that's fine too. Now you can see here that the skin is very, very smooth, almost too smooth. Maybe a little bit too smooth, but that's okay. We're going to reduce this down some. Now I'm using 9 as my radius and 21 as my threshold here. Depending on the size of your image, you're going to want to go ahead and bump these up. If you've got a really massive image, you're going to want to bump these up much higher. When I do, though, unfortunately, the photo becomes very blurry and unusable. Okay, so we set those back to where they were. I like this right here, so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Okay, so now we have this done. First thing we want to do is maybe set down the opacity on this just a little. Just bring back some of that natural tone and texture back to her face. Okay. So for our next step, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and put a layer mask on here. Okay, so what we're going to do now that we have that layer mask on is we're going to come up over here. We're going to select the brush tool, and we're going to make sure our fuzziness is set all the way as hard as it can go. And we're going to make sure our color is set to black. And we're going to come in here and we're going to start painting out these areas. You know, areas that should be crisper, maybe her eyebrows, and maybe parts of her lips. You can always adjust this brush size to get what you want here. We want to have a little bit of texture in the lips. You know, if you want to start playing with her hair too, you can. If you maybe want to go ahead and start turning some more of that sheen. This doesn't look like it's affected it too badly here, but depending on her hair color, it may be affected, or his hair color. Okay, and then for the last step, what I like to do is create one new layer. And okay, for the last step, what I like to do is come up over here to my Spot Heal tool and create a new layer. Make sure it says Sample All Layers, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to get rid of some of these wrinkles with this tool. And this may take a while to do. Just go ahead and start playing with them. And don't worry if you make the face look a little bit too plasticky, or we can always turn this layer down over here just like we did the other one and bring back some of that detail. Just want to kind of soften it some. So, okay, now let's see why I set this as a smart filter. If I go back over here to where it says surface blur and I double click on that, you can see where I can have the settings again. So I can go ahead and readjust this now without losing my mask or anything else I've already done to it, which can be very helpful if you've gotten all the way through this process and decided that maybe you put a little bit too much radius or threshold on this blur. Okay, well, it looks like we have a lovely airbrushed face now. If you want to go back to your original, you can see that it's massive difference there. I think it looks so much better. All right, thank you so much. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below. Bye-bye.